Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Geek Out in Old Town Burleson. I am your favorite bearded hero, Charles, and this is my newest sidekick, Emory.
Hello.
As always on Tuesdays, or as usual on Tuesdays, we've been a little bit shy. We've been a little bit missing some Tuesdays just because conventions and illnesses and conventions and then holidays and then conventions and then there's going to be another holiday and another convention. So. But as often as we can on Tuesdays, we come here and give you Tuesday treasures and then a nice chat between the two of us with some horror movies because we are both horror movie freaks.
Sounds fast.
So tonight we will go over the new comics and new collectibles real quick, and then we will talk about found footage films, which I really enjoy. Found footage films are some of my favorite types of horror movies.
Solid genre.
It is a solid genre. It makes you feel, some of them make you feel things you don't want to feel. But so we can have more time talking about horror movies. Let's get into the cool stuff, and then we'll talk about the things. All right. So we're going to do a quick. All right. So Jeff Lemire's Bone Orchid Mythos 10,000 Black Feathers #3. We got Captain Suave #2. Now, this is the one that a lot of people are waiting for, and is the book of the week is I Hate Fairyland Volume 2, #1. Now, if you missed I Hate Fairyland the first time, go read it. It's one of Scott Young's greatest books, and basically, little girl gets trapped in Fairyland and spends many, many years there, and then just eventually becomes a homicidal maniac. And then by the end of it, she gets out of Fairyland, and now she has found her way back to Fairyland somehow. So, got a Peach Momoko cover. You got, I'm not sure who did this cover, but it's a really sharp looking cover. So, and then you got, let's see, next we've got Coma #1, another new spooky book. And the variant cover for it. Yeah, from the my brain just blanked. From the pages of Geiger, you get Junkyard Joe issue 2. Gunslinger Spawn #14. That's a really cool cover on that one. That one's going strong. One of the best ongoings right now, Something is Killing Children #26.
20 out of 10.
So this is a reprint of issue 1 of Invincible, signed by Ryan Otley, and that is one of 111 copies. It's actually number 40 for its certificate. I think it's 40.
Y'all might not see it when you come to get it.
So we got a new Blade book, Blade Vampire Nation #1. Sadly, the Blade movie has been delayed yet again. Murder World Avengers #1. Scotty Young cover for Murder World Avengers. Very cool. The bad guy from the best movie that's out, Namor the Submariner #2. Got a variant cover for Namor. The best X books that's going on right now, Immortal X-Men, and that is issue 8. One of the best Marvel shows, She-Hulk #8. Just well, we've got another Star Wars book because we don't have enough Star Wars book.
No.
Hidden Empire. There's a nice variant. And yet another variant. And we've got Thunderbolts #4. Another Star Wars book, Han and Chewbacca #7. All the Gambits #5. Invader Zim. New #1, Gold Goblin. So Gold Goblin coming from the pages of Spider-Man. Got a different variant cover with all the different goblins on the cover, and got a Green Goblin cover for Gold Goblin, and a Gold Goblin cover for Gold Goblin. I think I already showed that one. But Ghost Rider Danny Ketch #1. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sarah. I'm not going to, it's just a Sonic book. Issue 2. The Tails anniversary issue. Yay, Tails. Tails was my favorite. Captain American Winter Soldier Special with a variant cover. Demon Wars, Shield of Justice. This is Peach Momoko's Civil War, but feudal Japan. Very cool variant cover. Another very cool variant cover. Wakanda #2, starring M'Baku. That's going to be cool. Nocturne Country, I don't know. It's a new #1 from Scout Comics. And another new #1, Door to Door, Night by Night. It's Cullen Bunn book. And if we know anything about Cullen Bunn scary books, they're always pretty solid. So that's all the normal comics. Next, we got some trades. You got Buffy '97. So throw back to the old Buffies. David Duchovny's comic, Kepler. Haven't read it yet. The complete Hickman Avengers Volume 4, now in softback. It's been available in hardback lately, but you've got a deluxe book 1 for Philadelphia. That's a really solid one. And a deluxe omnibus for Kieran Gillen's Die. So that's a really solid one too. That was a really good series. So that's all the books. All the books. All right. So if we're done with the books and it's a Tuesday, what do we got next? The stuffs. So, were you a kid during the 90s? I was. Did you have a bunch of Chad bros and girls that wore shirts for bands that they had never listened to? I had those friends. But if you want a nostalgia bait from anything from the 70s all the way through the 90s, Grateful Dead Mini Bears. They come in a variety of 6 different bears. They're cute. They're tiny. They're little.
They glow in the dark. Right?
They glow in the dark. So we've got a variety of all 6 of the colors. So them are pretty cool. Yeah, we're just doing that today. Normally, whenever we get these, I wear them to just entertain myself. But yeah, I got the red one, I got the blue one, I got the black one. Now there's a white Something is Killing the Children. All the factions get their own colored bandana. So Something's Killing Children bandana. We got the white ones available. What's crazy is those actually sell out. Like every time we get a new color, gone. I think the black ones lasted the longest and they're the most recognizable. Yeah. So Emory, what's the best New Year's movie?
Oh, that's a hard one. There's so many. But I'm gonna have to go with the obvious and say Gremlins.
Okay, so Gremlins is the best Christmas movie.
Okay.
However, Gremlins 2 is the best New Year's movie, and you got a whole series of them. You got our favorite Mogwai, Gizmo. You've got Mohawk.
Mohawk's my favorite.
Mohawk's pretty awesome. And Mohawk has an actual fur Mohawk. It's not a plastic Mohawk, which that's kind of...
Like
you can pet it. You can pet it. Next, you got Daffy. Freaking goober. Then you got George. This is just the grumpy one.
Nobody likes George.
Yeah. And then you've got Lenny. Lenny's great. Yes, Lenny's named after Motorhead. And then they're doing this weird thing where they're just making new Gremlins and adding them to the pile every time they come one of these series. And this one's the Punk Mogwai. He's got a little nose ring and a double Mohawk, but his double Mohawk is plastic, so you can't pet him like actual Mohawk. So I mean, I'm a little let down. I'm a little let down by that.
I'm mad at the piercing.
A little bit. It seems a little pointless.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just hand me some. Hand me something. We'll talk.
Let's talk about these.
All right. So, everybody's favorite animated show on the Amazon Prime is Invincible, and Series 2 of the action figures has just come out. Adam, Eve, and Robot. So, why you can't be a little more creative and just call yourself Robot? Seriously, you can at least be like Bill the Robot.
Adam Eve knows she's 10 out of 10.
Adam Eve is pretty cool. Tokyo Ghoul Pop figure, Kuki Yuri. Sure. Yep. And then so next, Tiny Tina's Wonderland was a great fun RPG in the Borderlands world, and one of my good friends is a villain in it.
Oh, really?
Yes, my friend Keeper Walker. We're gonna have him on the show eventually. Won't be able to do it on a Tuesday because he has a standing engagement on Tuesdays. But yeah, he is bronze. I don't remember the name. It's one of the bad guys. I'm sorry, I'm a bad friend. I forgot the name of my friend's character.
Okay.
But he's in it. He's in lots of stuff too. He's also in My Hero and a couple of other things. Yeah. But you've got the Dragon Lord from Tiny Tina's, and you've got Butt Stallion.
Let's go.
Shiny Unicorn.
Let's go.
All right. Next, we already have the princess version of Sailor Moon, so now we have the prince version of Q-Posket for Tuxedo Mask. So very cool, very fancy,
So adorable.
Adorable as always. You like your One Piece? Because here is some One Piece. It's Otama from One Piece. Sure, I don't One Piece, so y'all know that.
He looks great.
This guy, I don't know his name.
Slayer.
From Demon Slayer. Cool. Names. Yep. One of these days I'll learn all the names.
Right.
So next we've got Shuna from I don't know, but she's a demon of some kind because she has horns.
I've seen her. She can't think of the name. Cool stuff.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff.
It's all been cool. It's all been cool.
Ghost Rider. Lunchbox. It's aluminum. It's aluminium. You open it up and you got a freaking thermos like you were 8 and it's 1998 or not 98, 88. Cool. Boom. He can go there. That's from Slime, right?
Yeah, My Life is a Slime.
See, a new one. That one's from reincarnated as a slime, a Rimuru, with a cool little mask. That's awesome. Blue hair.
I know what this is from.
That's from Dr. Stone.
Oh, yeah.
I just know because there's a giant Dr. Stone logo on it.
Oh.
See, it's Senku Ishigami from Dr. Stone.
Absolutely. Cool. I should have done that.
Next, we got some Build-A-Figure from DC, and the first one is from Speed Metal, and this Build-A-Figure is a very cool Build-A-Figure. You build Darkest Night with this set. But so we've got Wally West in his Blue Lantern suit. We've got, or no, that's just his blue freaking suit. Never mind. Jay Garrick, Barry Allen. Kind of like that black suit on Barry Allen.
It's solid.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I don't really like the arm tattoo thingy, but whatever. And then Kid Flash. Kid Flash's outfit's pretty sharp too. Next, we got the Arkham City Build-A-Wave. So this last week, we're all super sad because Batman himself, Kevin Conroy, passed away. But there's the Batman Arkham City, Kevin Conroy, Batman. Next, we have Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, however you want to say it. Penguin, he's pretty cool looking. Didn't have him in the frame.
Everybody's faith in Fatal.
And this is also a Build-A-Figure wave, so you get Solomon Grundy from the game if you get all 4 pieces. So there's that. Next, one of my favorite comic books, Judge Dredd. Cool little Judge Dredd action figure. From my brain went blank. Kickboxer. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's solid.
That's from Kickboxer, right? Pretty sure I was from Kickboxer. I might be wrong. It doesn't say, but which is weird. It doesn't say which movie it's from, but I'm pretty sure that's from Kickboxer. But if you haven't seen Kickboxer, it's a classic. So back in the day, before tropes were tropes of action movies, that like established the
tropes.
Yeah, several tropes were established in that one. This is one of the cool things. Speaking of 80s action movies that created a lot of tropes, Aliens, one of my favorite. So if you like your model kits, this is a power loader model kit. It is not pre-built. It is not a toy. You get to build the plastic model power loader, and you also get to build Ellen Ripley. And it's super detailed and super cool, and like the pinchers move open and close, and it has actual hoses for the pieces, and Ellen can get out of her power loader and get back into it, and then you can like march it up and go, get away from her, you bitch, and keep on freaking rocking around. You've seen Aliens, right? Okay, cool. That was the first time I ever swore in front of my parents, and my mom was like, just looked at my dad and she's like, "You better fix that."
Ooh,
Um,
this is my favorite.
this is a beautiful, beautiful statue, and you know what? I don't have scissors on me, so I don't have to knife.
Like I'll just give you drum roll, I guess.
Yep. No. So more bats. Last Night on Earth was an excellent, excellent story arc. It was a great standalone story, and so you've got this great Batman figure holding the lantern of Joker's head, and walking through the desert. So this was a very cool story. So for this to be, and this was like the cover of like the one of the issues. So it's very cool. So, boop. All right. And that's all the cool stuff we have to show off today.
So come get it before I do.
Yeah, please do. I can't afford to buy all the shit that I want to buy here.
And I'll do it. I'll do it too.
Yeah. To be young and have no real responsibilities.
I have so many responsibilities that I would be ignoring to buy this stuff. Please come buy it.
Fair. All right. So, we have we didn't want to necessarily just focus on our favorite stuff. We wanted to kind of go through and discuss a bulk of and just touch on some. So we just pulled up the IMDb top 100 found footage films and decided, you know what, we'll just zoom through these and talk about the ones that make us feel nice, or make us feel not nice is, I guess, the point.
Yeah, that's
so I don't know why they're ranked the way they are on IMDb, but whatever, because it seems like the numbers are all over the place. But maybe the no, not even the Metascore, because they're all over. Wow, that one only got an 18 Metascore. Well, movies. All right. All right, cool. So, first one on the list, I want to talk about Unfriended.
Solid.
So Unfriended, for those of y'all that don't know, Unfriended is it did a really cool thing. I liked it. The thing I like about it is it brought in social media.
Yeah, the whole computer focus aspect to it was, I love every single movie that I've seen like that, which is a solid 3, I think, movies that I've seen.
Not
like
a lot.
Not a lot, but it's a really, really cool concept. It's great when done well like that. It, like the storytelling.
This way, I'll speak this way. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes. But the storytelling like skill required to be able to like properly like have the movie focused on the computer screen the entire time and still have a like cognizant story to go through it. Skills. So you did take some mad skills.
That's one of the things about found footage is they're trying to put you into the world, so it can't be too fantastical. It can't be too over the top. I don't like whenever like recognizable people are in them, because that's also like, yeah, no, we're not like, yeah. What was it? The I think it was End of Watch, the police one with like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
it's like, no, I'm like,
I'm not gonna.
Yeah. And that one came out whenever I was still a police officer, so it was like, yeah, no, you didn't do a bad job of making the movie, but whenever I see a celebrity chilling there, I'm like, I'm out of it. Yeah. Diary of the Dead. Did you ever see that one? 2007. It was Romero's shot in it. It was
a zombie one.
It's a zombie one.
I mix up all the zombie ones.
They are pretty easy.
Similar, but
Diary of the Dead was probably one of Romero's worst movies. It wasn't really well executed. It had a decent.
I like when they do. I'll say that I like when they do combine zombies and found footage. I think that's a cool.
I think it's zombies. A really good way to do it.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and probably my favorite found footage film, is The Gallows. Came out in 2015. As we've talked about a few times, I'm a theater and music theater nerd, so like the fact that The Gallows brings that into like, that's the whole concept. And I have countlessly gone through like the schools whenever I was growing up, and whenever I was back in high school and doing shows, and it'd be like, okay, there's like 4 of you running lines, and in this huge ass school that was built in the 19s. Let's see, yeah.
The 19s.
Well, actually, one of my so one of the schools that I used to go to, it recently shut down, but it was actually built in like 1912. Was its first year, and it was in like downtown Montgomery, and downtown Montgomery is already a pretty spooky place because it's all freaking haunted because the horrible things that have happened in Montgomery.
Yeah.
So like chilling in like one of the oldest schools.
I haven't seen the galas, but I think schools are a fantastic like setting for
the gala. That's so good.
I know.
It really is. The second one's not as bad or not as good, but it's still really solid.
Yeah.
And the twist at the end really ties it hard back into the first one. So honestly, like like the gallows solid 1-2 punch if you watch both of them.
I like when they do a theatrical twist, like as far as like in a theater. I've seen, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was like an indie film. Like they went back to an old theater and it was haunted and they ended up dying. But the way that the theatrics involved in being in a theater is solid. It's cool.
So we were talking about Unfriended earlier, and a lot of people think that Unfriended is the first one to do that and it's the first one to have a mainstream release of doing the whole from your computer thing.
Yeah.
However, The Collingswood Story, not a great film. It's on Shudder right now. I was rewatching it. I haven't seen it in several years, but I was rewatching it earlier, and it is so 2002. Okay, so kids, if you weren't aware, in 2002, high-speed internet did not exist yet. And Windows 98 was still the what most people had running on their computer. There's a thing called dial-up, where you had to plug your computer into your phone line and you had to take turns answering the phone and using the internet. Collingswood Story, of course, they didn't get the licensing for any of the Microsoft programs or anything like that. So it's all like, instead of like real player, it's player time and dumb shit like that. But and never in a million years would you get a good enough stable connection to have the like quality of video that they have in it. But it's literally like completely told from a very, very dated source, and it's hilarious. But it's not a terrible movie. But no, that was that is, I think, the first time that they did the whole from the computer screen thing. Basically, dude talking to his girlfriend who's off at college, going back and forth, and they talk to a medium. Basically the same premise as The Host.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago.
Yeah, way.
Super early internet.
Unfriended Dark Web was, I feel like, a solid follow-up. I enjoyed it.
It was.
I liked that. It went from supernatural to like really realistic, like dark web stuff. Everybody's interested in the dark web. Everybody had a moment where they're like, I'm gonna try and find the dark web and I'm gonna see all the things. And I don't know if you ever got there, but I definitely didn't. I enjoyed it as a follow-up. I did. Again, like, that's another movie where you're focused completely on the laptop screen, and I found it entertaining more than scary, just because of some of the like creative ways that people were killed in it.
I don't think it was scary, but it was very creative. It was a solid follow-up. I like that it did do a similar thing with a different angle.
Yeah.
So I think that it was really solid. I don't know if it needed to be named Unfriended the Dark Web, because Unfriended, the whole purpose of that one when it came out was getting shit on social media, where this one was just, we stumbled upon something we probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum. Have you seen that one yet?
I haven't. That's the one that's like the Korean grapevines, right?
Yeah. So they're like influencers, and they set up and they go through. That one's a lot of fun.
It's on my list because I watched the Grave Encounters series again, and every article that you see about Grave Encounters recommends Gonjiam, just because it's like the Korean twist on it.
Oh yeah, it's solid. It is basically Grave Encounters in Korea, but it's really good. Like, it gives you some really solid imagery and some really creepy fun things. And honestly, I like the fact it's done so well that you almost forget that you're having to read it.
Yeah. Which, if you hear subtitles, grow up.
I will say some movies, whenever you're subtitling, it's a chore. And some movies, it's just so naturally progressive and the movie is so good that you stop realizing that you're reading,
right,
and you still rock through it.
So it's immersive. So it's always good for found footage.
Grave Encounters 2, solid follow-up to Grave Encounters 1.
It fit the series.
It's
the movies are great.
Yeah.
They're great.
I love the first one. I am pleased with the second one.
Yeah. It did what it had to do.
Yeah. It's solid. It's fun. It has a nice twist in it, and it was good.
Right. Cannibal Holocaust. Have you seen that one?
Cannibal Holocaust was one of the first found footage films, and yes, I have.
That one's a trip.
It is.
It's a trip.
So if you do not have a strong stomach, I strongly suggest you not watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Absolutely not.
However, if things don't bother you and you're crazy like me and Emory, watch it. It is gratuitous, to say the least. The premise of it, if you have never seen it, is a crew of documentary filmmakers go and want to document the natives in the rainforests, and they choose the wrong natives.
You don't want to mess with those natives.
And so it is so graphic and so over the top that the filmmakers actually were actually detained, and until they proved that it was all fake, they were detained. They were almost charged with murder because
to bring the actors in.
The actors had to come and like testify, where it was like, yes, that's me on the screen. Yes. No, I am not dead.
I'm right here, please.
Yeah.
It was fantastic cinematography. To get to that level. Not for the weak of heart.
No.
I can mention Megan is Missing because if you are like super messed up like me, then it's like it's very graphic. It's very triggering, extremely triggering. The first hour and a half of the movie is painful to watch just in the cringe level. You know, you have a bunch of preteens like doing drugs and talking about sexual stuff and trying to be grown and cool, and like they're on FaceTime with each other just trying to be awesome, and like that's an hour plus of that. So it's very, very, very hard to sit through. We almost turned it off multiple times just out of that. And the last 20 minutes is just straight trauma, extensive trauma on children. So it makes you very uncomfortable the whole time. And not to say that I'm a weirdo or anything, but that those type of movies are the only few things that actually scare me. So that scared the crap out of me, just out of like fear of, you know, I have a little sister. So just imagining that kind of stuff happening, like it's very immersive. It's very like real life, like kidnapping type of horror, and you worry about that kind of thing.
So this is what I'll tell you about Megan is Missing. Yes, it is on a lot of people's list of depraved craziness. However, even saying that, I would tell you, if you are a parent of a young teenage girl, make them watch it.
Yeah.
That will fix their shit real quick. It literally is just about child predators and internet predators that just, so I mean, and the thing with the cringy, like, yes, the movie was made a decade ago, but I mean, we still have pretty much the kids never change. Cool. The kids never change. They always try to act like they're grown.
Yeah.
And you can connect with if you are that age, you will connect with those characters, and then they will slap you in the face really, really hard at the end with the very graphic, over the top what happens. And if you want to fix your teenage daughter from being a little shithead,
it'll fix her.
And if that don't fix her, I'm sorry. You are gonna have a very long 6-ish years. But yeah, that one's Bad Den. Bad Den. It was I watched it first on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of goofy, and the way basically dude buys a freaking flipped house, buys a house at police auction super cheap, and he moves in there and he's planning on flipping it, and creepy dumb shit starts to happen. So it's fun, it's dumb, it's goofy.
I think I've seen it. It sounds familiar.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
There's like the dude who makes it, it's like one dude and like 4 of his friends that make it with him. The first one, like literally, I think 3 people were involved in making it. And that also entertains me whenever you get so few people that are making something.
The thing about like found footage in general, like it doesn't take a huge budget. It doesn't take a whole lot of people. And there's a lot of cliches involved and cheesiness, and that's what makes it great.
Yeah, that's the thing, is because whenever you start, like I said, with the big actors, once you start getting a big budget and you start being obviously, like Chronicle, not a horror movie, but still found footage. Chronicle is really good.
Really.
It's one of those few times where you can get that bigger budget special effects and make it work. But in a lot of the horror stuff, the realness is what really hits. Now Bad Ben has some laughably bad special effects. But that was also kind of the point that the dude's name was like Nigel Bach. And there's like 8 of them, like, because they just progressively get, like, one of them, he's an Uber driver. And creepy shit happens while he's driving Uber.
Nice.
It's a nice little series of just dumbness. But it does have some pretty good mythology in the first couple of movies, and then they just stop connecting and go off the rails. If you see something you want to chat about.
I haven't seen a lot of this.
It's a nice little chunk of stuff that
Blair Witch. I mean,
2016 Blair Witch. I honestly thought it was a solid 20-year later
remake.
Follow. I want to know what happened to my sister, so I'm gonna go get fucked again.
Honestly, as if the first one wasn't bad enough, let's go round 2, more deaths.
What happened to my sister? I want to find out. But here's the thing that really gets me. Like, the worst, I feel mostly bad for these kids' parents. It's like, okay, my daughter did some dumb shit and went and disappeared. And now everybody knows about her because in the world of Blair Witch, the tapes were found and everything crazy happened. So then, instead of just being a sane human being and just mourning my sister, my son is so crazy that he now went to go find out what happened to her and also got taken by the Blair Witch. So, man, you gotta be
double whammy.
So as a parent, you're like, damn, I had 2 dumb as shit kids. Or
genetically speaking, like if it's coming from them, then the rational follow-up is that they're going to go ahead and in 10 years I want to see a 60-year-old dude going and hunting down, because let's see, so she was 20 in 1999, so feasibly the youngest her parents would probably have been would be in their 40s. So we're talking they would be in their 60s now. So they kept them trained for this kind of thing.
If you were in decent shape in your 60s, I want that. I want that. So yeah, whoever owns the rights to Blair Witch, I will, like, there you go. If you make that movie, I just want concept credits for it. You ain't got to pay me nothing. Just put Charles's idea. Just be like, thanks, Charles, for the idea. So we could milk this cow a little bit more.
It'd be laughable.
No, I think that would be the parents are like, damn, I had dumbass kids, so now I got to go hunt them down.
Exactly.
Jerusalem. That was kind of cool.
Really nice. I like the effects on that one.
Yep.
Very.
Jerusalem, apocalypse zombie, and they're in Jerusalem. And now, so the cool thing about this movie is with it being found footage, they didn't get permission to film this movie for the most part. So, like, everything, like, they had a basic idea, and almost everything they did, like, because it's not a great movie. Like, it's kind of cool, but it's not a great movie. But whenever you learn that, like, they literally just had, like, body cams, GoPros, like, Google Glass, like, and they just did this, and they were like, we're just going to do everything on the fly. And filmed the vast majority of it in the actual locations without permission.
Ooh. That's edgy. That's a new level to it.
So that right there makes it go from okay to
It's a solid movie.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine trying to make a movie in a place that is that, because it's a busy area. I mean, like there are thousands of people every day that go to visit there for religious, historical significance, and then it's not like the police are very nice there, so you're risking getting caught. You're risking you're interfering with other people that are there for spiritual reasons.
Yeah.
So like just the fact of the way they film that is just
that's sick.
It's pretty cool. VHS. That whole series. If you haven't watched VHS, there's 4 of them now. You got VHS 1, 2, and 3, and then Viral, and I think there might be a 5th one. I think there's a 5th one. 1999.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet. But yeah, the VHS films, they're all it's anthologies of found footage of just terrible things.
It's just horrifying.
Some of them are great, some of them are bad. That's the thing about anthologies, that unless you're creep show, you kind of screw it, like the movie. Not
I have a soft spot in my heart for anthologies, just because they're very to the point. Because you only have a little bit of time before you go into the next story.
You got your 20 to 30 minutes max.
Yeah, and they do a good job with it usually. Like as far as like quick storytelling goes, it gets the job done. And
VHS also super over the top on most of them. They're like that vampire one from I think it was like from the first one. It's like the second scene from the first one, if I remember correct. That one just sticks out. I was like, okay.
But pretty messed up.
Did you ever see Apollo 18? The one that why we don't go back to the moon.
Yeah, actually, but was that one with like they went back because of they found like a weird tunnel or something, or did they find one while they were?
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Apollo 18. If you're watching with us, then tell me if Apollo 18's good.
You liked it. I'm not big on space movies. That's my thing. I'm really bad with them.
I will say I like science fiction, and I got a Star Wars and a Star Trek tattoo. But at the same time, but at the same time, a lot of it
stuff like I get like secondhand like anxiety from it, and I have a solid fear of like open spaces that can kill me. So like deep ocean, like in the middle of it, like surface I can do, middle of it not, or like outer space, like, and not like I'll ever be in either of those 2 places.
Well, I mean, at your age, space tourism is going to be a practical thing before too terribly much longer.
A practical thing that I will not be partaking in.
So whenever you're my age, you might be able to take a nice trip around the world in the spaces.
I don't foresee it happening for myself. If my family wants to do it, then maybe I'll be like, yeah, go ahead. I got but I'll be on the ground. Staring them off.
Fair.
I could skydive. That's within the atmosphere.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
So there's lots of these movies.
So many.
There's 6 and about to be a 7th one, I think.
Are they coming out with another one?
Why wouldn't they? They're cheap to make, and it's not.
Storyline is connected. So.
I will say 1 was really good on its own. 2, 3, and 4 independently are boring as piss.
Yeah, I like that they did well with like.
But tie them together, they're good. If you watch them like back to back to back, your eyes will get tired because you're spending the whole time going.
But you'll actually enjoy what you're watching.
But they'll actually because it has so much crossover, you'll enjoy that.
I haven't actually seen Marked Ones.
Marked Ones is actually, as a standalone movie, is pretty solid.
Yeah,
I wasn't mad at Marked Ones. Because it was like, okay, this one's not connecting to the story. I mean, of course, you have the same demon.
Yeah,
the cult thing, but it doesn't relate to anything to the first 4.
That I might like that because I needed a break from the story.
And that one wasn't bad. After Marked Ones, wasn't there another one before they did they took a couple of years off after Marked Ones, and then they did the one that came out last year.
Yeah, it was I can see the cover.
But yeah, basically it was the Amish people.
Yeah.
And that one wasn't bad. But it wasn't great. Yeah. I mean, it was easily the worst one. Yeah. But it was still watchable.
I mean, they're fun just because as far as like poltergeist activity goes, and supernatural stuff, even though it does take that cult turn, like it's cool seeing like found footage do that, just how realistic it gets. Like it's very immersive, very much like this could happen in my home.
The Poughkeepsie tapes. everybody that talks about found footage always hits up the Poughkeepsie tapes. Everybody who tells me about the Poughkeepsie tapes is like, it's a very rough watch. It's a rough watch. Megan is Missing is a rough watch.
Yeah.
The Poughkeepsie tapes, there's one scene that's kind of unsettling, and the rest of it is just like, meh.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I mean, it is a solid found footage film. I'm not knocking it in the least bit, but it's not as, oh my God, you won't be able to sit through this. It's so torturous and rough. It's really not. It's really not.
And I've seen like serial killer docs, like worse than that.
Have you seen Home Movie? I heard Home Movie's pretty rough. We're about halfway through our list now.
Fourth Kind.
That one wasn't a bad one. It was pretty solid.
That's the one I was thinking.
Mia Jovovich, Elias Dotius. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really, really, really like the interview settings. I like the tapes cutting back and forth. So the weird shit. I like the alien technology coming alive and like the acting and them going. It was entertaining. I like, as far as like, again, like I'm always gonna comment on like storytelling. So the interweaving of the therapist or whoever's out there, like talking to the townspeople and them all having that same dream of the owl, and then seeing the owl, like making you feel like really offset. I don't know. I liked it.
It's solid.
I liked it. It's a quality like alien found footage movie without ever actually like really seeing an alien. Maybe like a clip of
it. The Atticus Institute. Have you seen the Atticus Institute?
I haven't.
The Atticus Institute is really, really solid. Basically, they are. There is a hospital that is trying to control and weaponize telekinetic and paranormal energies and stuff like that. And this one lady is the first person they've actually gotten responses out of, and it ends up she's possessed. And so they try to scientifically study her. And as you can imagine, it goes bad for everyone.
Yeah.
But it is, honestly, it's really solid.
That's probably the most realistic premise I've seen on the list.
It's
possessed women, and what the government's definitely going to try to weaponize.
It was really solid. Ooh, The Houses That October Built. Have you watched this one?
I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
Okay, so Houses October Built. The coolest thing about this is, guess where it was filmed? In Texas.
Really?
Yes. So in The Houses October Built, you have a group of filmmaker friends, because found footage, that are traveling around Texas, going to all the different haunted houses, and then they go to one that the people who run it are actually twisted fucks. Yeah. But what's really cool about it is, like, I've been to like 3 of the places that are in this movie.
Yeah.
And like, it's really cool because they literally just, for the first like 30, 45 minutes of the movie, are just hitting haunted houses and hitting like the bar next to it. So it's like, if you're from Texas, especially Central Texas, you've probably been to a considerable chunk of the places that are in this movie. Like, like one of them, I've been to the bar that's in that's in it. Yeah. I've been to like I said, like I think 2 or 3 of the haunted houses I've been through.
Oh, that's
but yeah, no, that one was really cool. So, and the funny thing is, one of the members of the my paranormal investigations team, that we haven't done anything in like almost 2 years, pre-COVID, we haven't done anything since COVID, but he's actually friends with a couple of the owners of a couple of these places. So we were talking about doing, one of the things in paranormal investigations is you have this concept of, there's a concept of, if something has a lot of negative energy, you could potentially draw in things. So whenever you talk to a bunch of people that work at haunted houses, a lot of them are like, no, it's fucking haunted for real though. So we were actually considering doing investigations in a couple of haunted houses while they were doing setup before it actually opens to the public, to see if we actually get anything.
On some help,
which
stuff.
Which would be kind of cool. But yeah, House is October built. If you're from Texas, watch that and then watch for things that you recognize and know, especially like they spend a considerable chunk of time in the can't remember the name of the haunted house right now, but it's right before you get to Belmead Waco area.
Oh.
It's like big one right on the left hand side. I don't know if it reopened after COVID, but it was huge. But yeah,
I usually have like updates on my phone about the.
But yeah, like House October built. It's a lot of fun. It's really good. And it is. If you're from Texas, watch it because
I'm gonna have to rewatch in Bar Hop.
Yep. The Bay. I don't know about you, but I don't like the Bay.
Really?
Like,
it was an interesting like take on like found footage as far as like throwing in the like epidemic.
I just found out it was boring as shit. Like so one of my buddies that I do October Madness with every year, and we actually he has a show every Sunday.
I'll give it that.
Like this is one of his favorite found footage films. I just don't get it.
I don't know about
like his favorites are Hell House LLC,
as it should be,
Atticus Institute, and The Bay. And I was like, okay, you're 2 for 3 easily. I did not
give it a favorite mark, but I enjoyed watching it. At least I thought it was gross. Yeah.
It took me several times of forcing myself to watch it. The Last Exorcism. So I'll say this. It was a high budget one.
Yeah.
And it did have a couple of recognizable people in it, but it was still done really well.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that like this was one of the few exceptions of
big budget
go hard and still comes out well.
Yeah.
It did. It was fun. Sequel's trash.
I don't think I've seen the sequel.
Pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
Not even worth it. Oh, finally.
So me and some of my friends do a Halloween October Madness bracket to decide what our top horror film is each year, and we don't do it just regular. So one year we did it just what's your 16 favorite movies, break them down, see who wins. And this last year we did genres, and found footage was one of the brackets. And this movie won this year, mostly because I have spite against another movie. But Hell House LLC, we've mentioned it a couple of times. Hell House LLC is top tier found footage. If you have not watched Hell House LLC,
stop watching this and go watch it right now.
Well, we'll be done in the next 20 minutes. Then go watch it. Right after, go watch it. It is on Amazon Prime still, I believe. But it is so much fun. It's basically
really good. Yeah.
Some people buy a old busted hotel and they want to turn it into a haunted house, and it is actually haunted, and and hilarity ensues. The first one by itself as a standalone is great.
Great.
It is excellent. The second one is not as great, but it still is good, and it builds the lore, which is really, really solid. And the third one is easily it's easily the worst entry, but it builds the lore a little bit more. But honestly, I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah, and like I was mad about like the resolution to it. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't like that at all. Like as far as like the watching goes, I could have cut it at film number 2 and been
absolutely
fine.
Yeah,
totally been fine.
Totally
been fine. Just let it be. Just that
film number 2 could have been the end of it. I'm not.
They rounded out the story, and I, sometimes I appreciate like a solid like little ending.
It's over. Like we don't get that enough in movies now.
For sure.
Like we don't get I
didn't need it in
that. We didn't need a third.
No.
We didn't need a third one. It added more lore, but I don't think that was necessary. The third one's not terrible, but it's also not good. I'll say it's good, but it's not really good. It's a 6.5.
Yeah.
It's watchable.
Yeah, it's definitely watchable.
But it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
But definitely watch the first one.
Yes.
And if you like the first one, watch the second one. And then you can just pass it.
I'll easily say, like, as far as like editing goes to build a storyline, this is my favorite. Like out of
Yeah.
all of them, it's not my favorite found footage, but it is my favorite as far as like storytelling. Just
Because
they
like,
immerse you well
you
with
get
the
to the point.
interviews,
Mhm.
the actual footage, the news reports.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yes.
that's and they do a good job at making you like the characters. That's the thing that a lot of found footage doesn't do
Mhm.
well, is make you actually care what happens to the characters. Because a lot of them, everybody's either a douche,
Yeah. Most of the time, that's really
or
it.
everybody but your last girl is a douche.
Yeah.
Whereas most everybody, except for like one dude in Hell House LLC, like everybody's pretty likable or relatable,
Yeah.
and you don't want something bad to happen to them, but it does anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The number one recommend on my side.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
all day. Grave Encounters, we touched on that.
Yeah.
Grave Encounter, a lot of fun. Same thing. Paranormal crew goes into an asylum, and
it's really they find what they were looking for.
Yep. No,
they found what they weren't looking for, because
Yep.
they're never looking for it.
Yeah,
Truly.
yeah. And like, honestly, I think if I remember correctly, the dude was even like in his like videos, he knows he's a fraud,
Yeah,
and
he's paying people off.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I say as I do paranormal investigations, I am not a fraud. I just also don't. I'm a skeptic, so whenever I do investigations, it's overtly aggressive, and I have minimal evidence that I've come across that I'll be like, no, that wasn't right. But I've been in enough crazy places to know that something's out there that I can't. That's not tangible.
And I'm not going to the crazy places to find out.
I'm gonna make her go one time. We'll do something easy. We'll do like Hill House.
Okay.
Hill House isn't bad.
Yeah, I can do
Hill, have you been to Hill House yet?
I haven't been yet. No.
Hill House is it's very touristy, but
Yeah.
it has its charm.
Okay. I can do, yeah. Let's stick with tourist.
Yeah.
I've gone to Midget Town, the
Okay.
incinerator. Yeah, I've enjoyed that, but that's nothing. You know, it's old.
I want to go to Yorktown.
Ooh.
Yorktown's on my list. Yorktown is like high on my that's top on my Texas list. But yeah. And then we'll make a found footage film. Emory get the shit scared out of.
I would die.
We won't let you die.
They don't have a lot of choice in these movies.
I will do everything in my power to make sure you don't die. Fair.
Mostly comforting.
Okay.
He'll probably get me to Lake Mungo. Lake Mungo.
Lake Mungo. So a lot of people rate this as like the best found footage. I hated it.
I saw what they were trying to do. I agree with what you said earlier. Not horror.
It's like they bill it as a horror movie with a bunch of spooky things happening on, but it is not a bad movie. It is a bad to call it a horror movie. It is more in line with documenting how a family copes with loss. Basically, teenage girl dies in the beginning and drowns in a lake. And then weird things start happening at her house. It's like, I don't want to spoil too much, but honestly, I'm just going to save you from it. The weird things that are happening in her house, her brother is doing, so they'll investigate her death more. So now all your supernaturally things have just been discredited and debunked. So like everything that was an issue ends up not being a paranormal issue. I think they tried to make a paranormal twist at the end, but it was just, there was already enough. Yeah, there was already enough. It was too late. And honestly, like, I get where they were going, but it really is a better example of a family's coping with loss than it is a found footage horror film, because there ain't a damn scary second in that whole movie. It just isn't.
It's not. I'll talk on The Visit real quick, because I
talk on The Visit because fuck M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay, as far as like the visit goes, like I was talking about this earlier too. I am not afraid of old people. I'm on the record saying that I am not afraid of old people. However, comment whenever you have a horror movie like centered around like horror, like the old people being the you know bad negative entity that comes around, it's especially scary to me because elder actors do the heck out of that. They really they put I don't know if it's the experience or what, but they come across as extremely scary. And that one's interesting just because it has like your leads being children. Which you don't see often in found footage, really at all. I can't think of another one off the top of my head where you have a child as like the main character. So, as far as immersion goes, there's a couple of question marks as far as like these kids having these nice cameras and going around and like filming everything and stuff like that. The acting's great for children.
You don't know any rich snobby kids that have shit they shouldn't have?
I stand corrected. I do stand corrected, but it's another one of those films that's also makes you like genuinely worried because it's children. You don't want to think about the children. You don't want the children to get hurt by these psychopaths. It's fun little like you see the twist coming a mile away on that one.
Because M. Night Shyamalan freaking blew his load on his first 3 movies, and everything since then has sucked.
But it's still like your heart still kind of drops whenever it happens. So I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. Definitely freaked me out. Just again, I'm not scared of old people. Those old people are terrifying.
Fair. Creep. Have you watched Creep?
I have.
Have you watched Creep 2?
I have not.
I honestly like Creep 2 better than Creep 1.
Really?
Creep, if you're not familiar with it, is about a dude who wants a guy to videotape his kind of last days, so that basically he's like a 40-something that knows he's dying, so he wants to videotape a memoir so he's not lost forever. And then he starts doing weird, creepy things, and they just get weirder and creepier and weirder and creepier. He's like that dude that you don't want to hang out with, but you do anyway, and then they make you really uncomfortable, and that's the whole thing.
The moral of the story is don't just randomly answer online ads for random people and go and do what they say. You know,
isn't that how the 2020s work though? I mean, whenever I was your age, like our parents told us don't meet strange people on the internet and don't get in their cars, and now you blatantly use the internet to get in strange people's cars. I mean, but yeah, so Creep is it is a bit unsettling. I don't get the yayness. Now I will say like the dude who plays the main character is like a popular comedian that was on like a TV show or some shit. I don't know. Like I was told it was somebody that matters, but I don't know. The sequel, similar concept, but and early on you find the twist. The girl that comes in to videotape him doing this, where he thinks he's going to take advantage of her the same, she knows exactly who he is, exactly what he's done, and she actually sought him out, and so she makes it even creepier, but she then learns that she's way in over her head. I think that concept is better executed.
Is she a creep too? Because I was gonna say, as far as like synopsis goes, like that's really crazy to me to seek out somebody. Okay.
Yeah. She's
go out of your way to seek somebody like that.
Yeah,
you gotta be a type of.
I think the second one just kind of like the first one's not bad. I just didn't get what because everybody's like, oh, like whenever he's wearing the mask and running around, he's so creepy, and I'm like, no, he's just weird and awkward.
Yeah.
He's just super awkward.
Yeah.
And he happens to kill people.
Yeah.
That's my only thing is like just it's the awkwardness. Like at one point he like asks him to like have a conversation with him while he's taking a bath, and he's like sitting in a bathtub like he's like a 4-year-old, and like just like I mean it's like that's just weird to ask another grown man to videotape you taking a bath, but it's not like okay, I've got to actually scrub myself. It's just weird. Yeah. It's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's just weird. All right. So, alien abduction incident in Lake County. This movie, I saw on television back in high school. It is not one that is easy to find because it is so early and it was not distributed.
I've seen this one like recently.
Yeah, it started to pop up on a few like stream. I think you can watch it on YouTube maybe. But it's super low budget.
Yeah.
There's like almost nothing in it, but it's the suspense of
Them just like
them
running through
just
the house,
running through the house and like it's a
I-
really well done found
I
footage
liked
film.
it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really solid the way they do it.
Forgot about that one, and so like
Like what's funny is before before people like me are obsessed with stuff like this and started making lists of things like this,
Yeah.
like I tried for years to be like, do you remember on, because this originally aired on like TV on Halloween and I never saw it again.
Yeah.
Like it was not on VHS. You couldn't go to fucking Blockbuster and get it. It was impossible to find.
Yeah.
And unless
You
you
just had to see
recorded
it.
it off of your freaking TV with
Yeah.
commercials and all because it was on regular television, like, and nobody for years believed me that this movie existed. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's real. And they're like, no,
But this is a solid movie.
it is.
If you're an Alien fan, then like that one.
Yeah, if you like aliens, alien abduction incident in Lake County, it is really solid.
Well, I might have to go watch that again tonight.
Wreck, or in America, Quarantine. I will put them together because
Basically
Wreck came out in 2007 and Quarantine came out like 3 months later. Wreck is Spanish or is it French? I think it's Spanish.
Is it? I'm trying to remember the
Yeah, I'm trying.
language everybody was screaming and everybody was screaming.
Anyway, it's European. It's not a European, it's a European. It's either French or Spanish. I always get it mixed up which one it is because I haven't seen Wreck in a very long time. And Quarantine is almost identical to it. Has a lot of the same shots, a lot of the same style.
Yeah. I saw Quarantine before I saw Wreck, and honestly,
Same.
you should watch Wreck.
Yeah, no, Wreck is better. However, I do really like the actress in Quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's one of my favorite actors. Like, yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you haven't seen it, a reporter is doing hey, I'm going to ride with the firefighters, and they go into a situation and they get barred in by the government because there's a outbreak.
Yep.
And then they're basically turning on each other and psychologically going crazy, and then
there's a lot of paranoia and there's a lot of actual noia. Like
yeah, there's just paranoia, and then there's oh shit, somebody's eating people. It's really well done. All of the Wreck sequel, Quarantine did get a sequel. It was on a plane.
Yeah.
And Quarantine 2 wasn't bad.
Yeah.
All the Wreck sequels are solid too. There's so many of them at this point that I get them all mixed up. I can't remember what happened in 2 versus 3 versus the boat one versus I don't know. But anyway, Quarantine and Wreck, we'll use them as interchangeable things because one is just
solid. They're fun.
They're fun. They're good times. One is just an Americanized version of the other one.
Yeah, I can feel the frustration at the beginning. Like I'm not a fan of being like locked in places.
Oh God, no.
You're telling me I can't leave. I'm busting out a window.
Host. We briefly touched on this one earlier. Host.
This one was fun watch.
It
fun.
was, and the fact that it came out in 2020, right in the middle of us all being stuck to our computers, and it was lots of fun.
It's completely on Zoom.
Yep.
So it's another like computer one, but like everybody's used Zoom at this point. Every single person I do, for whatever reason, school or work or connecting with friends, just because of like everybody being locked up. So talk about immersion, realistic, you can relate to these people. They just decide to have a seance while they're at it, which is like, why would you do that?
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Because of what happens. Okay.
We're gonna do it when we're gonna do a seance show
here.
Yeah.
Shit, I'll do it here. This is okay.
You're welcome. We're crazy and dumb.
I'm gonna get possessed. Go ahead.
We're not gonna get possessed. Okay, I'm not gonna get possessed. Okay, I'm already possessed.
I just got rid of my shadow people. I don't need more.
Shadow people are weak because they're shadows.
That's why they're easy.
Turn on a light.
So host, actually do recommend it. It's fun. It's
yeah, it is really fun. They have a really good. They have a seance, and then shit starts happening to all of them
because they had a seance.
Because they had a seance, and it's a really solid. It's a really solid entry in the found footage.
Yes. Troll Hunter is actually one that I've seen. It's like Swedish or something.
Yes, it is also a not American one.
Yeah, it's very fun. Like as far as like entertaining horror movies go, like it's definitely like heavy on the drama and fantasy rather than the horror. The special effects on the trolls are like definitely can tell they're fake, but also just like from the distance he has to take the video at and like the effects of the snow and stuff, it still seems pretty like fun, realistic, you know. It has like aspects of humor that go into it that are nice, and then like it's just genuine, like the spectacle of trolls existing, and them like genuinely like just killing people because that's what trolls are gonna do if they exist.
I mean, yeah, no, they're gonna freaking eat your bones.
Yeah, they're gonna eat you. So I thought it was cool from like a fantasy perspective, you know, growing up thinking of like trolls and goblins and dragons and stuff like that. That's a fun one to watch if you're like used to be into that or still into that. It makes a realistic spin on like if these fantastic creatures actually existed.
Also goofy, What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I call it a horror. It's a comedy horror.
It's comedy.
It's a comedy horror. It's great. Taika Waititi, just basically I mean, it's a documentary about freaking vampires in modern day. It's goofy. If you haven't seen it, it spawned a TV show that got like 3 seasons, and I think we're on season 3. It's fun. It's just vampires dealing with today's bullshit, and it's great. And the TV show, like Taika Waititi's character pops up in the TV show every once in a while, so which is also kind of funny. The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh my god.
Fuck that old lady.
Again, I'm not scared of old people. I love old people. People are great. I have no problem with old people. That old lady is scary as hell. She's so scary. I genuinely like, again, the storytelling here because, you know, it's her fight against Alzheimer's, the students coming in, recording it for her studies, and it gets you, you know, you feel the frustration of her family, you feel the sadness of her losing herself, and then it's not even her losing herself anymore. She's like, this lady is possessed, like it's crazy.
It starts with a sad journey of Alzheimer's, and it grows into oh shit, this isn't just Alzheimer's.
Yeah, you go from like feeling bad to feeling like, oh, I can't do, she's got to go. I can't with this lady.
So we'll do this one. Are we? Oh, we're going to.
You can't not say Cloverfield.
You can't not talk about Cloverfield.
Cloverfield.
What would happen if you were a person and Godzilla was tearing shit apart?
Just out of nowhere. You know, you're celebrating New Year's, drunk with your friends. There's a little bit of scandal going on. Y'all are in New York living it up, and then boom. Godzilla.
You can't call him Godzilla because you didn't get the licensing to call him Godzilla, but it's Godzilla.
Boom. No, it was solid. One thing I really, really expected out of this movie was that it was not a happy ending.
Yeah. No, that's you know, I will say this, whenever horror films don't give me a happy ending, that's probably whenever I enjoy them more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is because you give us this like horrible just scenario and situation where there's no good way out of it. And yet I miraculously some way find a way out of it.
At least a couple people.
It's
you know, they figure it out. Especially on like a massive scale. That doesn't happen. There's no general gonna fly in on a helicopter and swoop you up. There's no Superman gonna laser beam the monsters. Like if you're screwed, you're screwed.
Like
there's no exercising the ghost.
The best example of how the real world would end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a found footage, but The Mist.
Yeah.
Like complete misery. You know it's over. There's nothing else we can do. I've got 4 bullets and there's 5 of us. I'm going to take one for the team and I'm going to let the monsters eat me. And the minute you step out,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. That movie came out like 12 years ago. If you haven't seen The Mist, spoiler alert.
You need to watch
Tom Jane is excellent, but the final scene is just him like
It's so
torturally like
to me,
he
actually.
kills
his whole family.
kills his whole family and his friends, and then expecting the monster to just like eat him as soon as he comes out. He comes out and starts making all this noise because he's so upset because he didn't want them to suffer, and he just steps out there to suffer, and then the army rolls through and they're just like murking fucking monsters left and right, and it's just like, yep, that's the most realistic.
If the government's gonna get there, they're gonna get there too late.
As a person who spent a considerable portion of my life working for the government, that's how you do it. Bureaucracy has to go through before we can start doing shit.
You gotta cut down on like the number of people that are gonna try to sue you for some reason for doing it. So
well, I mean, you have like 30 different people that have to approve you going out. I mean, you got to go through the armor, and like if your gun's not clean, they're gonna kick it back at. I mean, like there's so much red tape. Oh yeah, shit, we can't leave because that dipshit lost his left glove.
Cloverfield kind of touches on this whenever they do actually get in contact with the military and like the set spaces and stuff like that. There's just so much like of the guidelines,
the bureaucracy of what you
going on that they end up right back outside. Like, doesn't really work out. No,
I'm sorry.
And it's very, very just.
If this shit ever happens, I'm sorry. Like we're all SOL.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this one and that one. Okay. So. I love this one.
It's great.
This is one of the few that legitimately scares me, because the only thing that really scares me is I hate being in confined spaces.
Claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia is probably the only thing that I can calm down and take a breath, and like spiders can crawl over my body and I'll be like, I don't like this, but I can handle this. Small spaces, no. I can't
even do crowds, much less like I can find like tunnel systems, catacombs, not.
Which makes me sad, because there is part of me that really wants to do catacombs, but as above, so below. This was awesome. Such an excellent movie.
Awesome.
It is awesome. Excuse me. It's, if you haven't seen it and you're not familiar with it, essentially a group of friends want to go visit the catacombs, and they find a dude who will take them into the parts of the catacombs they're not supposed to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And as they go in, they find a portal or a passageway to the underworld.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
the reason you're not supposed to be in this place.
Yeah. And now they're on the wrong side of the whole situation. And so you take the danger of just being in caves that are hundreds of years old and not completely stable, plus monsters.
It's really like comparable to, I don't know which came out first. Did this one come out first, or did Tunnel come out first?
I don't know.
Because
2014, I saw Tunnel on here. I haven't watched Tunnel.
Oh, we skip right past it. I watched it like forever ago, and definitely just whole same premise. Tunnel takes it a step further, where like at one point one of the creatures actually grabs the camera and you're like traveling with the creature for a little bit, which I thought was so freaking cool.
That is cool.
But same concept of just like, being in this like confined space and dealing with monsters coming after you. Like I don't get why people just like, what is it called, spelunking? Yeah, no, like The Descent. Descent scared the shit out of me. Oh my god, I watched it once.
Same. I watched it once and I was like,
I can't do it when you're so enclosed that you actually get stuck.
Yep.
People like that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Hard pass. That is, like I said, that is one of the few things, like, because here's the thing, like, crowds don't bother me because I've like, if I get stuck in a crowd, then I know how to get my way out of it. Like I will make a hole, but if you're underground, there it is. Yep, Tunnel 2011. Tunnel did come out first.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I've been in situations where crowds have gotten nasty and rough, and you know what? You just have you ever beat up a guy with another guy?
I'll do what I have to do
because
I'm just saying I'm gonna hate every second.
But no, like but like whenever you're talking about like actual like these are hard things that do not move, and if they move, they might move in a way that will make it worse.
Yeah.
That is probably the only thing in this world that I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of having a seance in a graveyard on on New Year or on Halloween. While I prick my finger and swear a blood oath to the demons, I don't give a shit. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It's whatever. I'm not afraid of that. I am afraid of being in a tunnel, and I am afraid. What's funny about that is, whenever I was stationed in Okinawa, I used to really love all the historical stuff. You could go to all the battle scenes and all the battle sites and stuff like that, and you could learn about all this shit that you've seen in history books. And like if you could go like diving and stuff, and you could like find like you could go and like these are planes that crashed and shit. But they had a tunnel rats tour. I got through one tunnel. And I was like, well, nope. I guess I'm claustrophobic.
I mean, yeah.
And I freaked out, and I just sat on the bus for the rest of the time.
I can do and you know, it's really mean. I can make it through some tunnels just because as long as like I can like walk comfortably without like touching either wall.
No, I'm fine with that.
Like
But the minute we're like, if you're fat, you're not making it through. Nope.
If I have to like suck in and
nope, hard pass.
Going back.
Super hard
like
pass.
I did the incinerator. I went through the welded parts that are closed, and there's that hole inside, so you can kind of climb through them. And that was a little tight for me, but I was still able to get through that fine. But that's probably like hard line.
Yeah, she says it's tight for her. I mean, she's taller than me, but she's a freaking toothpick. So like, if she fits through it and it's rough, then my fat ass ain't getting through it.
It wasn't a great time. We got pretty deep in, and I was like, I need air.
Yep, no, we're getting out of here. Fuck this place. And I guess we'll round it out speaking briefly about the big boy, the one who brought this. Wasn't the first, wasn't the best, but it made it big, and it brought it all into. So we're obviously talking about Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
Now, for those of you that are not ancient like me, you probably don't remember or don't know, because like Emory, you wouldn't have experienced this, but about a year, not even quite a year before Blair Witch Project came out, they started with a media blitz. But the media blitz was not a normal media blitz. The media blitz they brought was a website, and the trailer and the commercials on TV were very obscure. And they presented it as a documentary.
They did good. I did hear about the good marketing. I didn't.
The marketing of it.
Be there.
Yeah, you weren't there. I was. It happened whenever I was in high school, so I very much. And I remember definitively, like whenever it started coming out, and because they just started adding things to the website.
Yeah.
It wasn't all there. They just like rolled little bits of information, and you got all of the history of Rustin Parr and a Blair Witch and all of this through like newspaper clippings, and just like it was and then there was a documentary about it like about a month before the movie came out on Sci-Fi Channel. There was a documentary about the Blair Witch Project before we even got to the movie. So by the time the movie was in theaters, there was such a media
like a cult
following about it, and none of the actors did any press for the movie before it came out.
They were missing.
Yes, they were absolutely. That was part of the lore was they were missing.
Yeah.
So you go and watch the movie, with having all of this very realistic like propaganda given to you, and you literally, even as grown ass adults, you're like, surely they wouldn't let this be aired if it was real.
Right.
But
like they take
is
that
it real?
immersion, like again, we talked about it before, like as far as found footage goes, like the thing that makes it great is the immersion levels, the realistic levels.
Yes.
They took that and just ran with it.
They did. And they
made this
threw
real,
it on
like,
they did, and they threw it on you so much, because also you got to realize in 1999, whenever this came out, the internet was still in its infancy for people. Like, you could go to your public library and still maybe not be able to use the internet.
Right.
Like, not every home had a computer with internet.
Right.
Like, most of my friends did not have internet, and if you did, you had, like I said earlier, you had 42K dial-up that you had to share with your phone. And if you had a teenage sister that had a boyfriend, you're all on the landline, so you can't freaking get on the computer. So, I mean, it was only the rich kid had 2 lines for his internet. And then but you had no way to find out whether this stuff was real or fake, and what information you had. Because now, I mean, like, you get on Google now and you can, like, I can literally, like, Google's, I was trying to figure something out earlier, and I was just like, let's just Google random words and see if I get.
And eventually,
like, yeah. Today, my okay. So you remember the game Trouble?
Yeah.
With the little dice in the middle, and you pop it. Like, me and my wife were trying to figure out what that thing is. So, like, the little popper.
Yeah.
So, like, literally, we just took random word, like, dice poppy thing, and it gave us what it gave us exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah.
In 1999, I could Google who is the president of the United States and get a paragraph.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Like, well, I couldn't even Google it. I would have to Yahoo it.
No.
Or ask Jeeves, or use Netscape.
God.
Like, Google didn't even exist yet. So it was just you could ask, like, so there was no way to be like, is the Blair Witch Project real? Well, the only thing you would get for Blair Witch Project was the website that told you it was absolutely real.
Right.
And then you're like, well, where is this forest? And then the most you would be able to see is the forest is in this area. Okay, was there a Blair Witch in this forest? Takes you right back to the Blair Witch website. So, like, the infancy of you can't redo this because so much info. I mean, like, right now, if you were like, oh, did Blair Witch really happen? Like, right now, you're like, okay, no. Instantly, you can be like, it's kind of like,
there's gonna be so many things just popping.
It's like Slender Man.
Yeah.
And Slender Man, like, it wasn't super deep into the internet. Like 2007, I think, is whenever it started popping up. But we can all definitively show that Slender Man was created by a creepypasta, whereas this was like just very old creepypasta that we have no way to. That at the time we had no way to. And that's what made Blair Witch so special, and what made this whole genre explode is the immersion and the believability, because what a lot of people don't realize, whenever they're making the movie, the crew that they were making it with, they legitimately would do things like make them, like, they would legitimately, like, take their shit and, like, take their, like, what happened to my fucking meal, my protein bar, they literally would take their food and take their water supply and take their, and, like, just deprive them of things, so they're starting to turn on each other just naturally as people,
just actually, like, freaking out, getting paranoid.
And I mean, I mean, you're in New England and they filmed it in the fall, so it's getting cold. Oh no, I stepped in a puddle, now my feet are wet and it's cold. I need to, nope, we didn't bring any extra socks or boots, guess you're stuck. And they intentionally, like, so, like, whenever you see them, like, freaking out on each other and crying because they're miserable, they're actually miserable.
Yeah, actually hate.
So, like, the fact that it did all of that and brought us to where we are with found footage. That was just it was amazing. And it's a time period where, like, as big into horror movies and this stuff as you are, I'm like, yo, I wish you could have been there because there was nothing.
I'm never gonna experience anything like that. I hate it.
Yes.
I hate it so much.
Yes.
But just knowing about it,
Like, the
it's just
closest
incredible, and
thing
it gives you so much respect for the filmmakers.
it
and the
does.
film.
The closest thing I can relate this to is, and it's not even this extreme, but like when the Unfriended first came out.
And
Like, you grew up in the social media
Yeah,
age, you
so
grew up with
culturally,
Facebook,
we
so
saw it,
culturally,
like-
yeah, you see that and you're like, oh, that's kind of creepy.
yeah,
They really, because Unfriended was put out by a major studio, so
Yeah.
they got the licensing for all of the different
Yeah.
programs, so it actually looked like your computer.
exactly.
Whereas that, but nah, like Blair Witch was just, it was such a impactful piece of its time, and it is a just brilliant time capsule that will never be,
Never ever.
like, you can never find that same, all of those same elements just coming together at the time. I'll tell you, the late 90s was a wild time, yo. Like, it just was. But yeah, that's, I mean, we went through all the biggest found footage movies and talked about it, and we did. Yeah.
I don't know, talk about next time.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about next time?
Oh, I picked found footage. So it's your turn.
You picked found footage?
Yep.
I thought we came to a consensus on that.
I brought it up. And
You brought it up? Okay, fine. Well, normally I would ask people what they think, but we only have one person watching, and people just popped in and out. And Jason didn't even watch tonight. Jason normally says some shit.
Usually.
I don't know. Anyway, let's see.
Something fun to talk about. This was fun. This
was fun.
Yeah.
Well, so next week is Thanksgiving. And there's only like a couple of Thanksgiving horror movies, and honestly, they're more comedy horror.
I was gonna say we can talk about B movies just in general.
Could.
There's a new one my brother recommended called Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is not very new,
It's
but
not.
it is very good.
It's
Okay, it's very dumb.
Is the third one new?
Possibly.
Because it's like they skipped the second. They made the third because the premise of the third is that they made the second and it was so bad they destroyed everything but one tape, and that was the turkey's fact trying to retrieve that tape.
Okay, so Thanksgiving is an exceptional round of B movies.
Yeah.
So sure, we'll do a Thanksgiving episode, and I will go hunt down those movies and we will watch Thanksgiving. Let's see what Thanksgiving is streaming on. So the all of nobody who is watching with us, if they want to, they can watch it and they can discuss with us.
I'm gonna definitely like touch back on
2002
movies too when we're talking about it. So if you haven't seen a bunch of those, maybe like touch in on some. Because I'm definitely gonna watch this and I'm gonna refer to the other ones. Like, this is what I liked about it because these movies are great about this. This is what I
looks like it's on Pluto and Tubi for free. That's at least the first one. But yeah, there's several Thanksgiving.
I don't know if it's free or not, but
oh yeah, like 3 came out in 2012.
oh, okay, that's
so yeah, no. So Thanksgiving has been on for a while. So
been a minute. I've never seen it, so I'm very excited to.
I saw the first one whenever it first came out because adult beverages.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And honestly, if you're not having adult beverages, you probably shouldn't watch it.
I think it's a sin to watch a B movie without adult beverages.
Well, not all B movies, but this one specific. You need to get like
pretty up there
3 or 4 in you before you even push play, and you need to make it a drinking or make it a drinking game.
Oh, that's fun.
There's part of me that's like, we should just do a live stream reaction where we make this a drinking game.
How long is it? Because that'd be fun.
It is an hour and a half. It's about a 90-minute movie. Let's see. Thanksgiving. Let's see. Look at that turkey.
He looks horrifying.
Let's see. Doesn't tell me.
Doesn't say.
But I would assume it's about a 90-minute movie.
Let's do it. Let's leave
Yeah.
hour 10 minutes.
Hour 10 minutes. Yeah, so
Perfect.
it's not
Yeah.
even 90. It's
Yeah,
not even.
this
Yeah,
is-
this
it's
is
always
longer
like a
than that.
90
Yeah.
minutes.
So
Yeah.
let's see if there is a Thanksgiving drinking game that somebody else has done. Now we're just talking about dumb shit on here, and so nobody's watching us anyway. So
It's waiting for the next episode. So if y'all want to tune in and play along, we're gonna be watching Thanksgiving.
what? That's not what I clicked. Stupid. Thanksgiving drinking game. Here we go. Anytime a character tells a terrible joke or bad pun, uncomfortable close-ups.
Sometimes someone says turkey or killer turkey. So
I think we're gonna be fucked up. All right, so fuck it. There we go. Let's see. Thanksgiving drinking game.
Let's go.
Gobble gobble, motherfucker.
Yep.
Sea turkey. College kid makes the noise. Anyone says Thanksgiving. Anyone falls. Nudity. Bad one-liners. Turkey swears and bestiality.
Ooh, God.
It's interspecies erotica, fucko. Okay. So I think we can do that.
I'll bring my beers.
Yeah, we'll have to find a play. We'll have to do this somewhere else. Like we
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it on our work stream,
but
we're not going to do it
we're not
in
gonna be
the
drinking
store.
next to our holy comic section. That's not okay.
But yeah, I think we'll have to do like
Yeah.
So Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night we'll lock up, and instead of doing all the cool shit, we'll go and
we'll go and turkey it up.
we'll go watch Thanksgiving while getting shitty.
Be great.
We'll figure out our third-party location. But yeah, so join us next Tuesday for the Thanksgiving reaction and drinking game. Because it's going to be solid. It's going to be dumb. It's going to be ridiculous. And then we're going to see if the old man still got it and if the young kid can freaking drink with the old man.
Honestly, I can drink anybody on here under the table. That's my
accepted.
One claim to fame.
So here's the we'll talk about rules off. Okay. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, going through found footage and our insane ramblings before, during, and after. We appreciate the one person that bounced in and out throughout the evening.
You're great.
You're great. I just thanks for the one person that thumbed up. Like normally people, normally people watch this shit. I don't know why nobody's watching tonight.
Everybody's probably like cuddled up in bed to sleep. It's cool.
Daylight savings has really kind of fucked everybody up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home.
I'm gonna go home and I have to be back here at noon. So yeah, I'm gonna go home and go to bed too. Well, I mean, I'm gonna watch The Rookie and then I'm gonna go to bed.
I'm probably gonna watch one of the many.
Oh no, I do need to watch Chainsaw Man.
Oh my god,
this new episode of there's only like 5 or 6 episodes.
And I'm already so behind.
It's like 2 hours.
I've seen 1.5 episodes.
Okay. Well, I mean, excluding the recap and the credits and the extremely long. Okay, I love anime, but damn it, stop making 3-minute long fucking music videos in every episode. If your show is 21 minutes long and 5.5 minutes is just credits and another 2 minutes is either a recap or a preview for the next episode, you don't have a 21-minute show. You have a 12-minute show.
I like the music videos.
I like the music videos. I'm not saying I don't like the music videos. I don't think that we need it every episode.
Yeah, maybe like the first episode and the last episode, especially if they do like a special music video for the last episode.
Yes.
They do that, and that's fun.
Or like every 3 or 4 episodes. But like,
we'll definitely have to do a show on like animated horror movies.
We will.
100%.
And we don't always just have to do animation, or not animation, but horror movies. We can just do movies in general.
Oh, that'd be a fun one.
Like, I mean, I'm too damn busy right now to go see Black Panther, but I really want to go see
I'm seeing it Thursday, actually.
Depends on what, I gotta go to the VA on Thursday, so it depends on it. If I get out of the VA in time, I might go see it Thursday.
I'm very excited.
I want to go see it very much so. Black Panther is my youngest son's favorite character, so
Good taste.
he does.
Great taste.
Don't ask him about Black Panther because he will not shut the fuck up for like 3 hours.
It's always funny to see kids go on like that.
He is notorious on the TikTok for yelling at people about how superior Black Panther is to every other comic book character.
Okay. I support it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're just rambling at this point. The last like 5 minutes of this thing has been point. Anyway, we're out. Bye.